from the mud. There's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree. There's roots where I stand.
Hey,
What's up?
not much.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been about like close to 6 months, which is crazy. Only half a year, and it feels like it's been a little bit longer
That
since
is
everything.
crazy.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. But how are you? Just to kick it off, how are you? And people can join in, and we'll get it going. But how are you feeling? I know there was like a little rough patch for all of us, but now it feels like it's slowly easing down. How are you doing?
Yeah. I'm good. I'm excited for it to be easing up a little bit, the quarantine to be over. I just feel like it'll be a nice shift in mindset. And it's like it's gonna go I don't think it's gonna go back to the way things were. It's not even gonna be like 100% perfect yet, but just the freedom of getting back outside, and I don't know, it's just gonna help with creativity and all that stuff. So I'm excited for that to come.
Yeah,
Hopeful right
absolutely.
now.
Yeah, I totally agree. What have you been, just so everyone knows, you guys can ask any questions below. As I was saying to Kelly, you get more questions from individuals than I've ever seen, which is really cool because everyone's really fascinated and they need help with everything you're talking about.
Yeah.
What's a big thing you've been learning lately, just through this time? If there's like one glaringly clear thing that's sticking out to you.
What I've been really intrigued in, it's not even like anything to do with business. It's more just like understanding myself, and like through this process, like just like why I'm so affected by things. Like we're still all living, we're still all breathing, we're still eating food, like everything that is the basic thing of what we need is still happening. But why does it feel so much like, I don't know, scarier to be in this time? And just understanding like why I react the way I do to certain things, like why I am anxious about certain things. Like I've just been really intrigued in that, and like learning about the subconscious and all of that. So it's more about like introspective stuff than thinking about business related things right now for me. But yeah, it's been interesting to just like really ask myself those questions. Scary sometimes to like really dig deep, but
Absolutely.
I think it's necessary for sure.
Yeah, there is no better way to start than there. You can answer one of the questions there, but I love how you talk about the subconscious. I really want to get into the mindset with you, but we can answer some stuff related to fitness and at-home workouts and that, because I know people need help with that for sure. Someone said low bar squats are better for glutes. I don't know if that was a question or not. Yeah.
I think it was a question. They can tend to be, because you can get more hip flexion, so you'll get more glute activation that way.
Yeah, and just so you guys know as well, like Kelly's page. Kelly's page it's like a library of fitness stuff. I'm sure people do it already, but like just go and like stalk her stuff, not in a creepish way, but like to get actual fitness advice. How have you been? You said you've been learning about the subconscious and yourself. Like, how have you been diagnosing that to reflect? Like, what practices are you doing? Whether it be just like meditating or journaling about it, or just like sitting at your beautiful view thinking about it. Yeah.
So do you know the book? I don't want to say the actual word. Unf Yourself.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So he's like the guy who wrote it he's like a little Scottish guy. He's cute. But I've been listening to a lot of podcasts that he's been on, and obviously I've read that book already, but I think in the time that I read it, I didn't really let it sink in as much, or I didn't like, it was like, okay, like this all makes sense. But I read it again and I was like, okay, no, this matters. Like this is something I really need to take seriously. Because what I think a lot of us don't realize is like we get into these cycles in our lives, and it's relatable to literally anything you want to talk about, like diet, business, whatever it is. If you have this subconscious thought that like you'll never be fit, or you'll never be rich, or you'll never be passionate about life, no matter how much you consciously want it, no matter how much you're like, yeah, I really want, a six pack, if you're following that subconscious loop, you're never going to get it, because you've told yourself like, I am fat, or I am overweight, or I am poor, or I am whatever. And you're just going to keep following that loop until you work subconsciously to fix that. And like you said, meditation is a huge thing for a lot of people to like fix their subconscious mind. Not that there needs to be fixing. That's not really the word I'm looking for. Like rewiring, I guess. I definitely need to get into meditation more. I always say it, and I never really do get into it, but I know that's something that would help, and that helps, you know, you just kind of understand yourself better too.
Yeah, yeah. There's so many resources out there you can start to use. But
Yeah.
I love exactly what you're saying, because during this time especially, it's just like it's a very meta thing. I think everyone's experiencing it, but it's a realignment of a lot of things you used to do, or just like readjusting uh, more on a self level, because when that's changed and our habits can be changed, then the world can be better because of that. And I think you're even seeing
Right.
it with like, you can get into stuff with the environment, but I think all that's going to get better once we change as individuals. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I like the main thing about your stuff is you are focused on the body and fitness, but it is more so about the mind. It's like
Yes.
you really are more into psychology than
Yeah.
the
And you know,
actual
that's
body.
the thing is, you know, I struggle with anxiety, and I've obviously talked about it a lot on my page, but
Yeah.
I'm almost thankful I have, because it's made me realize how much the mind matters to literally any goal you have, again, whether it's business or fitness or whatever. Um, and you know, it's kind of funny, something I've noticed about myself is like I really like struggle, and I've kind of taught myself or gone along with this story that if I'm not struggling, then like I'm not going to be happy, or I'm not going to be like not happy, but not fulfilled, I guess. Like I need to
Mhm.
struggle to like reach something. So I think that's almost why I kind of got into a rut recently, was because I like wasn't struggling. You know, I was just like comfortable, like everything felt cool. And I was like, I almost kind of sabotaged myself, and I was like, no, I want to struggle. Like I need to
Mhm.
struggle somehow, because that's like my story. That's just like what I follow.
Yeah,
And it's just been like interesting to realize that about myself, you know, just realize like, okay, that's something that I do.
that's amazing. Yeah,
That's the way it is. Yeah.
yeah. I think that's so cool too, because fitness, you have to basically suffer in order to grow.
Yeah.
So you're really like
Yeah.
putting yourself into the hole each day just to come out a
Hmm.
better person.
Right. And
Yeah.
that's another thing. I think one of the hardest things right now is there are obviously a lot of people struggling with mental health with all of this quarantine stuff. And Tony Robbins, for example, will always say like happiness is progression. If you're progressing, you're happy.
Mhm.
If you're just stagnant, you're not. So I think that's a big struggle with a lot of people right now, because a lot of people are either going backwards, or they're just, you know, staying where they are. And if you're not progressing, you're just going to be, you know, we're humans. We naturally want to keep moving forward,
Yeah.
and it's hard on us when we can't.
Yeah, but the best way to put it is like right now is a blind spot highlight in a way, where
Hmm.
things you in this book. I'm reading this book right now. It's like called Switch on Your Brain, and this lady talks about how there's your mind is 90% non-conscious, and then 10% of it is conscious. So if you can do the
Yeah.
work to diagnose how you're feeling non-consciously, then everything will sort of flow like a river into your thoughts and actions, and then you can just
Hmm.
go from there. Like I say, like you're so great at social media, you do an amazing job, you've done a great job, but in order to get there, you have to do a lot of self work, because
Hmm.
everything emulates from inside. So
Right.
you've shown that,
Right.
yeah.
Right. Absolutely. And that's why, you know, that's one of the hardest things I think, having like a business from social media, is if you're not 100%, you know, in your best self, it's going to show, or, you know, you feel like you just, I like, that's why my content honestly hasn't been up to the par that I typically like to have my
Mhm.
content at. You know, it's not as frequent or whatever. It's just because I personally don't feel that way right now. So I can't like get on here and like, it would be obvious, you know, people would be like, oh, something's off. So I just prefer to just like not maybe post as much or whatever. But yeah, it all starts with inside, like whatever's going on inside of you. You know, one of the main drivers I had for making this all successful, like my fitness page and all that stuff, was I just really wanted to prove that I could do it. And I really wanted, you know, to be able to affect a lot of people. And that was the drive. Like it was inside of me. And I knew that that's what I wanted to do. So, you know, I had a lot of peers who started out with the same, you know, size page as me, but I was the only one who grew. And I don't think it was because they were doing anything wrong. It's just they didn't have it inside of them. They didn't have that drive to like really make it happen. And it really does all start inside.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You know, that hits the nail on the head there. And talking about like goals in general, since last time we talked, it was before 2020 started, I believe, and now
Yeah.
you are out in Cali, and I know
Yes.
we're gonna get together, but like, how is that environment and everything? Just really curious about it.
Yes. It's amazing. You know, I don't know if it's like seasonal depression that I have. I wouldn't even call it that, but weather affects me a lot. And when it's like cloudy or if it's rainy or snow, it's just not good for me. So the sun always being out is really therapeutic for me, and I really love that. Also just like there's just so many things to explore and visit and see. And that's one of the main reasons I wanted to move, was just to, see something new. You get stuck in comfort, and when you're in comfort zones, you're not going to grow as much.
Yeah.
So putting myself out here, not knowing anybody, like all that stuff, it was scary, obviously, but now I'm like 3 months in or something like that. Yeah, a little bit more than 3 months now. It's amazing. And, there was a struggle. Like, I didn't expect it, obviously, with the coronavirus stuff too. Nobody expected that, but I don't regret it at all, moving out here.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that aligns with like your whole philosophy, just being your discomfort zone. The other thing I was gonna say too, is this year for not only me but a lot of other people has been self-love, and I know when you think of self-love, it's like like spa type stuff, or like put the cucumbers on the eyes, but it's actually more than that. So, and in this book too, it talks about like it's you have to basically be like a guard inside your head for any thoughts that come in that are bad, and you just have to like block them off. What has been like, if you can use one word, what has been like 2020 so far? Has it been like a self-love? Has it been like a patience? Has it been like perseverance? Like, what's that one word for you?
I think it's not even like necessarily self-love. It's like self-learning more so. I used to do a lot of like introspective work and really just thinking about the way my mind works and all that stuff, and motivation stuff, all that stuff. And it's like working out. You can do that consistently for a year, but if you stop for another year, you're going to lose all the muscle, right? You're going to lose all the progress you made. And it's the same thing with your mind. Like, you constantly have to work on it. And I definitely let it slip up a little bit. And it just kind of showed me like, okay, you can't let that happen. Like, it is something that you need to constantly work on, at least constantly, not necessarily work on it, but just, do something every day, even if it's just meditation. Like, that's better than nothing. Because if you don't, like, you could let that slip up. But yeah, I think it's more about learning for me for 2020 so far. Just a lot of lessons. And obviously I jumped into 2020 right away with the risk, moving across the country, and it was terrifying, but I definitely already learned a lot about myself. So I'm excited to see what else there is to learn. But
there's still 9 months left. But the thing you said is like kind of like showing up, like always be there day to day. Can you talk about like, if like, I mean, kind of during this time, but it's okay not to show up for a little bit, just to like get your bearings set, and then I want to get into like more like at home workouts for you, because I know you can't even go to the gym, which is probably super tough.
Yeah.
But the first one was like being okay to take a step back and not beating yourself up.
Yeah, I know we talked about this on the podcast, the most recent one, but the discipline to step away from work sometimes is kind of hard too. And I think this time in my life honestly taught me how, I talked about this in a YouTube video recently actually, but how little balance I had. I can tend to be like really, really hyped on one thing, and whatever it is that has my main focus at that time, like that's where my focus is. And for a while it was work. So I was working a lot and I really didn't have balance. And then when I came out here, now I didn't only just want to work, but I want to meet people and I want to explore and I want to do all these different things. And I realized like there was really no balance in my life. So learning to, get that balance back, I knew that like I needed to take a step back from work. Like I knew I needed just some time away from being so hyper focused on it, because if I didn't, then I was just going to break myself and like cause an extreme breakdown that I didn't need. So yeah, I think it's, you have to be first. Whatever's going to be best for you, you have to put first. And if work has to take, the back seat for a little bit, then so be it. Because you can't put your 100% into work if you aren't 100% yourself.
Spot on. Yeah. I love that. Because you hear countless people who've taken weeks away, months away, a year away, and they ended up writing that book. They ended up, making that business or having that idea. I think the same applies here.
Right.
Yeah, but transitioning into it, like accepting the fact we're here, we're home. What have you been doing? I know you took a little break from working out just to, rejuvenate and like regather, as we just referred to yourself. But I saw you post about it. Like, what have you been doing now? Been getting into workouts, and what have you been doing for workouts?
Yeah, so I have a set of dumbbells here, and then some longer resistance bands and stuff. So I have been doing just like workouts throughout the week. I still do like the same amount of workouts as before. Obviously, you can't go as heavy as you would at the gym, but just doing what I can. And it's I think if I say this to a lot of my clients, like if you can keep yourself on a routine and discipline during this time, it's going to be a breeze when this is over, because this is the hardest time for discipline right now.
Yeah.
And you should be proud of yourself if you can even get yourself to work out, if you can just keep yourself on some sort of a routine. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be the same as it was before, but doing something's better than doing nothing. So
yeah, absolutely. We see Roy here. What was the first lesson you learned when you moved? I know we touched on discomfort, but is there another one? I know the year of lessons, so we can get into that.
Yeah. I do think like the first lesson was the balance thing, like how little balance I had, honestly, because I really, like, seriously, when I was in New Jersey, I was working all the time, like 9 a.m. at least, if not earlier, probably like 7 a.m. till like 9 p.m. at night. And it was because like that was my only priority. Like I didn't really have much else to do. It wasn't exploring. Like I've seen New Jersey plenty. I didn't need to go out and like see the world. And when I got here, there was so much more that I wanted to do. And like something's got to give somewhere. You only have so much time in a day.
Yeah, you have to make choices and sacrifices.
Yeah. It's literally like balancing. And I just kind of realized that. So I think that's the biggest lesson right away, at least.
Yeah. And I think the first word that popped in my head when you were talking about it before was just that self-awareness. And in order to cultivate that, you need to reflect, you need to journal, you need to meditate, do something. Even like, I'm hoping during this time that it reveals a lot to people to decompress more. Like for me, especially, I'm in that same boat where I would work all the time because I would feel like I'm behind, or like, I'm not enough. I got to keep doing more. But sometimes you said, like, if you're not 100% yourself, you're not going to put that into your work. So I've actually been like 90 to 75 at times. So I need to go on that walk. I need to, go in nature, do something just to break it up and have that like buffer time.
I think that's one of the most brutal things about being so much on social media, like as your job, is how much you can feel like you're falling behind. When even though you're doing, you're posting things and you're constantly, thinking of content and all that, you always feel like you're one step behind, and it's it's annoying feeling. But I definitely, like, during this time of taking a step back, I felt that a lot less. Like, I'm like, I know when I get back to it, like, people will remember who I am and they'll see, like, whatever, like, I know I have value to bring, so I don't have to constantly feel like I need to bring it right now. There's time. Like, I don't have to be so crazy about it. But
yeah, exactly. We just posted something because we had one of the Q&As with someone who was on Shark Tank, really great entrepreneur, and he said, right now should be like a value building time. And then once this is over and people are back to doing their thing, you can start to like pitch and market and do whatever you need to do and sell. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, that's what I agree so much. There were a lot of people that were like, you still need to be selling to this time, still need to be selling, which I obviously, like, I still have clients and everything. Like, I didn't completely stop my business, but I think this time for me was just more important in like looking inside, and just like really self-reflecting, so that when it's over, like near over, I know I'm going to be like 100% me and ready to show up and, bring my all. So I'm excited for that for sure.
Yeah. A lot of being present is stuff that's clear to me, but I know we can talk about the stuff now, but as always, I'm interested in your moves ahead. But before I ask that, got another one from Roy. What's the key thing into staying motivated for home workouts? pretty hard thing. Good question.
Yeah. Again, motivation isn't it. A lot of people, like when you say motivation, will get a lot of people like who are fitness trainers, whatever, will kind of get annoyed at that, just because motivation is never consistently there. It's not. It's something that comes and goes. It's like a feeling. Like sometimes you're happy, sometimes you're sad. What you have to develop is discipline, and that's really the thing that's going to get you through, because even when you don't want to do something, you do it because you said you would, and you're disciplined and you force yourself to do those things. So, playing good music, or, I mean, it was a guy that asked, but putting on a cute outfit if you're a girl, even though you're working out at home, like whatever you have to do to hype yourself up, even if it's, maybe you can go work out in a park or something if your parks are open, or even if it's in a parking lot, like just changing the environment maybe could help. But don't rely on motivation, because at the end of the day, it's not always going to be there. Nobody's superhuman. Nobody has that 24/7. You just got to rely on that discipline more than anything else.
Yeah, it's a good framework. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but talking about, say this is fictional, or hopefully it's not, but say this subsides in like a month, and things go the way they should. What are your continued plans for the summer? I know like it's really important to stay present now, but like I mentioned, I'm interested in what you aspire to do going forward.
Yeah. I actually am expanding my coaching team. So I'm hiring some assistant coaches, and really going to put a lot of focus in my coaching and making sure it's something that I'm really proud of, and a great service for people. I don't think it isn't already, but I know that we can do better, and that's what I want to focus on. So that, and then just getting more content out there, specifically YouTube. I think, I don't get that many views or anything on YouTube, but I've come to the realization I don't really care about that, because what matters is there's a lot of value I can put out on YouTube. It's a lot longer form of a media, so I can speak for a lot longer and say a lot more and show a lot more on there. And it's where people can learn the most, I think, from me, that and like Instagram TV and stuff. So putting a lot more focus on YouTube, I think, would be great. And then I really want to get onto TikTok, just because I think it's blowing up clearly, and I think there's some value there. So I'm working on that a little bit too.
Good. I love that.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see how you navigate TikTok, because there's so many ways you can do well on there. The other thing too, so during this time as well, I've noticed myself and others going back and watching longer form content. So whether it be like 2-hour Tim Ferriss interviews, or like stuff Complex has done with different series, I know you can really crush it if you do those series or have that longer form content, because then you can just chop it up into smaller stuff for other platforms.
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing with with Instagram and stuff, you always want that instant gratification, right? Like the likes or whatever. And if it's like you didn't get that many likes, you're like hurt, oh, the content wasn't good or whatever. With YouTube, it's a little bit different. I think it's more like everlasting content. So you post something and originally it only got 200 views. You go back like in a couple months, and out of nowhere it's at like 2,000. You're like, oh, what happened there? So like whatever content you post, whoever is listening to this and is on YouTube, like post content on YouTube, that stuff lasts forever. So that's why I really want to, get on there more, because, and it's easy to point people to, when I have question boxes on my Instagram and people are like, ask me a question and I have a YouTube video about it, I just do swipe up and they go there. So it's nice to have up there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, talking about that too, we're gonna archive this and throw it up on YouTube and keep it up there. We've been doing that for the other ones. We had like, I don't know, did you know Holly Taylor from Wayne?
Yes.
We had her on here as well. She was awesome. But yeah, that was fun. But yeah, if just so everyone knows as well, I know we're gonna end at like 3:30, even a couple minutes before that. If you guys have any more like questions, I know you asked a ton already. Kelly, indoor or outdoor exercise?
Right now, I mean, whatever is best for you, honestly. Like I live in an apartment, so I don't have a backyard or anything. So if I want to work outside, I have to go drive somewhere. But if I don't have that much time, then I'm just going to work out inside. So it really just depends what works for you. Yeah. True. If it gets you in a better mindset to be outside, then go outside.
And lastly, just for me, is everyone good on your end? Like, is everyone healthy that you know? or?
Yes. Yeah.
Good.
My grandpa was tested for it. He's fine. He came back negative. But yeah, I don't really know anyone else who's been affected. So luckily.
Good.
What about you?
Keep it that way. I know of some mutual friends, but everyone's good. I think.
Yeah.
I just keep saying, everyone asks like, "Oh, how you doing?" I'm just like, "I'm healthy. I don't really care about
Yeah.
anything else."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. As long as you're healthy, that's what matters.
Yeah. No, but healthy in mind too, not just
Yes.
body. Yes.
Definitely
As
matters.
we touched on everything. Yeah, I'm gonna let you head out, but I really do thank you for coming on. This is cool.
Yes.
Yeah, and we'll talk again, but keep crushing it. I'm excited to see the social media expansion, bringing on your other coaches as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Great
Keep
talking to
crushing
you.
it. All right. See you.
Bye.
Strong like a tree.